Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Scorpio. If Scorpio is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so we have the 9 of Cups, which is all about happiness. And I'm really happy to see this because I know we're in Scorpio, Scorpio season. I was going to say Scorpio land. It does feel like that though, right? We are in the lands of the Scorpio. But yeah, so happiness. Things coming back together, I know. It's just been a little bit hectic, hasn't it? And immediately I'm seeing this scary face. Here we go. We have this face over here. You can see the eyes, the nose, the mouth. It reminds me of like a skull. Kind of reminds me of, what were those dudes called on Game of Thrones? The Night Walkers, right? Something like that. something kind of akin to a zombie or something along those lines. But we have these question marks inside of the formation, and I can't help but feel like this is almost, it almost feels like something coming up from like a past experience, and I don't think it was just like one event. It looks to me almost like you went through a phase possibly, or there was just like a period of your life that maybe it was like surrounded in horror movies, or really you're just really into scary stuff and you went through this like major zombie thing. But I would like for it to be that lighthearted, I guess. That's what, I always like, as a reader, like, I'm not afraid to look at the hard stuff. I think if you've seen my readings, I don't want to be like the doomer, right? I'm not here to scare anybody or to make you worry or anything like that. But we do talk about a lot of stuff that is difficult. But as a reader, I like to look for like the lightest side of something. Right? I refuse to believe that this is something that like an apparition or some kind of intelligence that has been, it almost feels like visiting for years, right? Like something that you were scared of when you were younger. Right? Almost to the point of being like a little bit like avoidant, maybe even of a room. You might have been scared to sleep in your bedroom by yourself. But I just feel this, it is an energy that I feel like, it's almost like it feels like it overtook you. Right? Like this was the focus of everything. You were it was an oppressive energy in your life. And to see it come up like this, I worry, I guess. This is just my take on it, but I worry that something is going on that is leading you back to this place that you felt like, I will never go back. I'll never go back to this. I'll never go back to them. I'll never allow them in my life again. I'll never partake in different things. I don't know what it is exactly. But we all have our things, right? And they lead us down a dark path. They get us in the room with these, well, they are scary presences. And for me, I think about this. I think about when, and I've also shared this often. You're probably tired of hearing about it. But I am in recovery for substance abuse. And I don't always say, what I was doing. But for the most part, yeah, opiates and, different kinds of pills and things. It was pre all of the stuff that's going on now, like the real scary stuff. Before that stuff showed up and everything on the street. I miss that pretty much, I think, thankfully, because I would have been in trouble. More trouble than I already was. But I'll tell you what, when I would get sick, because, on opiates you have withdrawals if you're not taking them all the time. And I would have these visions in that dark place where my body was sick, my mind was sick, my soul felt sick. And I would go to places and I would encounter things that, now I don't like to say evil because I don't know. I don't exactly know, if that's the right word, but there's a lot of darkness there. And I almost get the same kind of energy, being sucked into that sunken place, that place of dread and feeling like there's nowhere to turn. Your options are all disappeared. And you're stuck here with this energy. And you're living in this kind of world that feels decaying. And I feel like as I'm saying this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And now maybe it's not about addiction, right? I'm not saying that I want to use that as an example because that's where, I use a lot of examples here because I want people to understand kind of where I'm coming from. But also because when I hear people say things, and this is so true about the occult, about magic, about different spiritual practices. So often it is explained about the technique and the movements and the sounds and the this and the that. But I don't always understand what are you trying to get to, right? What does this look like, for the practitioner as they are experiencing it? And so I like to just do some examples just so maybe you can understand the energy that I'm talking about. So it might not be addiction or being pulled back into that. It could be a relationship. It could be having to move back home to where you grew up and it was miserable. You got out of there as fast as you could and here you are. You're being sucked back in. It could be any number of things. And it will be different for each of us. But I see this face and it is a warning. Not a, oh, welcome home, you're already here. No, this is a reminder. It is like a road sign. Go slow. Think about what you're doing. Make good choices, right? Make good choices. That's the mom in me telling you. Make good choices. So we have that. Now, I do feel like, just from our other readings, I just feel like there's this going through something that feels like quicksand, that feels like you're in the swamp. And if you've ever, I mean, not just stepped in a little bit of mud, if you've been deep, like knee deep in mud, right? Trying to get out. I can hear the sound as I'm saying it. I can just hear it. But you're getting sucked in and you're getting tired because you're fighting against it. Trying to pull yourself out one step at a time and just sinking. And, you know, I feel like this has been going towards, well, backsliding. You know, I feel like you've worked really hard to get things together. I remember, like, over a year ago, there were all these tower moments for Scorpio. And now, you know, I feel like for whatever reason, there just is this energy of starting to undo some of the work that you've done to get your stuff together, get your life together. Now, we have the scorpion right here. You can see the body and the tail here. And up here we have, it looks to me like we have a butterfly, and then we have a person standing here with another butterfly. You can see the head, the body, a heart, and then we have the butterfly right here. We have another butterfly here. We have another person here. It almost looks like they're on one of those swan boats, the pedal boats. Don't stand on them like this person, though. That thing will tip right over. So I do feel like it's almost kind of, like whenever you get a little taste of success or happiness, things are going the right way, you feel a little bit confident, you're starting to see like, okay, this is all coming together, it's all working out, and you get in there and it's like, hey, I worked so hard, I have just absolutely put everything into evolving my life. And that's what the butterflies are. It's about metamorphosis, evolution, self-evolution. And I've done so much here, and yet for some reason I feel like I don't deserve it. And yet, for some reason, I'm here and I look around and I feel like, is this even real? Are you lying to me? Is this an illusion? Am I buying into something that, is a facade? I wouldn't be surprised if you have been in relationships where you really cared for the person, you loved them even, and they loved you, or they do love you. It might be right now going on at this moment. But you think, what are they getting out of this? Do they really love me? Why are they here? Why do they want to be with me? And it is almost like having an allergy to things going well. It's like I have a pebble in my shoe and I just can't stop. Everything else is going great, but what about that pebble? What does that pebble mean? What does this mean, right? Why am I a little bit uncomfortable here? Why? I can't focus on all the good. I can't focus on everything I've achieved. I'm worried about what? I don't know. I don't know exactly what you're worried about, but I know that at times you can self-sabotage. And I think at times, and I hate when people say this because I've heard this myself. Oh yes, I have heard it. But sometimes they think that maybe you do look for problems where there maybe are none. A lot of times this is the product of having a chaotic childhood or relationships. Maybe you had a relationship that was, you know, somewhat traumatic. And you carry it with you into other things. But the universe wants you to have a life, a good life, a decent life. And I see we have fish jumping, we have fish. And so the money is accessible. The money is there for you to receive. And you have made it, and you have figured out the way. And I feel like, especially in this next period of time, financially you will be good. But there's such a want to just be happy, to just be able to enjoy the thing, enjoy life. And so I look at this and I see we have a little flamingo here, and we have a heart. We also have the letter B, so maybe somebody with a B name involved in some way. But I feel like this really, with these birds like this, the heron, the cranes, the egrets, these big birds that they stand, right? They stand in water and they wait for the fish to come, and they look like they're pretty zenned out. They look like they're pretty zenned out most of the time. And I like to think of them as the great contemplators. And their patience, their ability to be in that moment, to be in the now, to wait for their moment. That instant when lunch swims by, they're ready. And so I feel like the universe, the cosmos, the divine, calling for you to take some moments to slow down, to look into yourself, to check in with yourself. I mean, listen, we talk a lot about meditation here, visualization, dream work. I just want to present the very basic thing. And a lot of us don't even do this, which I found out, because I'm the opposite. I mean, I'm always like, how do I feel? Do I feel okay? Is this okay? Do I like this or no? Do I not like this? Do I want to be here? Constantly. My brain just will not stop. But I found out not that long ago, actually, and I am almost 40, so it's kind of ridiculous. But I found out that most people don't go over this like self-checkout 50 times a day. Yeah, some people don't even think about if they're happy in the entire day. Like, am I happy in my life today? Am I happy? Am I happy generally? Some people don't think about that stuff very often at all, which blows my mind. And you might be one of those people. I don't know. But what I do think that we all should be doing, some of us need to temper it a little bit, pointing at myself, checking in. Checking in. Maybe even keeping a little notebook, or whatever it is. Maybe they have so many apps for this type of stuff. But just charting. How have I been feeling? What have my moods been like? What things are coming up in your life that are worrying you? What things are coming up in your life that are giving you inspiration, motivation, that are getting you excited? I think sometimes we really do. We have to take the time to remember that it's not all bad, it's not all good. You know, I'm also somebody who's really good at generalizing. My husband, shout out to Dove and Serpent Tarot, my husband Paul. I don't think he'd mind me talking about this, but you know, we both are really good when we're emotional, especially if there's conflict. Really good at doing the you always, you know, insert whatever, or you never, or I always have to, or I never get to. Really good at these like general sweeping statements and getting lost in them, right? Lost in the emotionality of whatever it is. You never put your shoes where they belong. Why do I always have to do it? You know, and is it helpful? I don't think so. It's not. Not always. Never. See, there we go again. Is it helpful? I don't know. For me, it's not. Because I have to remember the nuance of things. I have to remember that it takes just a brief moment to tinker with how I'm feeling, with what I'm thinking about, with, you know, where I'm at emotionally, mentally, psychically. I like to picture my feelings sometimes as, you know, like a doorway. A door. It's a door that's open. It opens, right? Especially if it's like, okay, here's an example. I'm on the YouTubes and I'm doing my work and I'm, you know, whatever, and I'm scrolling into like the little thing that I need to go into to look at my, you know, whatever, my playlist for the channel. Well, there's other, you know, things that it's recommending. And for some reason, YouTube knows that I'm such a sucker for like those videos where people save dogs, like, you know, in the street, or they're like under a house and they're trying to get it out of there with treats and they're gonna go wash it and, you know, give it a good life and all that. And I know when I watch that video, yeah, I'm gonna be happy that the dog hopefully was okay and ended up somewhere good. But I know it's going to like alter how I feel in that moment, and it will extend over into the next moment and the one after that, and I'll be thinking about it. And sometimes I decide I'm gonna walk through that door. I'm gonna risk it all. Let's see how this makes me feel. You know, or I make the decision, maybe not today. Maybe I'll look at the next one. Maybe there's going to be something like, you know, I don't know. Oh, commercials from Nickelodeon or whatever it was called. Snick. What, do you remember that thing on Nick? It was like all the TV shows that were on, I think it was Saturdays. It had to be Saturdays, right? And they have like, people make compilations of like all of the commercials that were on, you know, November 13th, 1999 on Snick or whatever. And that will make me feel some type of way. It's nostalgic, right? Maybe I'll go to that one instead, because I know I'm not going to be crying afterwards, probably. Hopefully, anyways. And you know, I feel like for you, Scorpio, and you know all this, I know you do. Every Scorpio I know is so smart. I mean, it's true, you are. You all are so smart, so intelligent, so creative. I'm a little jealous. But it's about learning to control our reactions, right? It's about learning to understand the stimuli that might be pushing us further and further down that dark hallway, right? And I know that there is a want to have this, right, overflowing of happiness. But we don't always know how to let that happen. Even when we're in it, we could be swimming in it. And yet we're looking for that one little dark rain cloud, right? Looking for a reason for this to not be real, to not be what it is. And so, I think this is the work. Writing down, taking note of, how am I feeling each day? How is it varying? What are the things that are going on that are, I don't know, distracting me from the work I need to do? And I think that's the starting point. And now we're also going into this very dense period of a lot of expectation. And what am I talking about? Yeah, we're going into the holidays, right? Still cannot get my head around the fact that you guys down there be on the southern hemisphere below the equator, that you're having warm holidays. My goodness. I think about it a lot more now because I'm doing the channel and I know, there's people from all over the place, but I'm always like, but what about the snow? Don't you like the cold? But yeah, I'm sure you all think it's weird that we do it during the cold season, So, but yes, there's all kinds of holidays. Pick a religion, pick a culture, pick a faith, pick a spiritual system or feasts or whatever it is. There's a lot of different holidays going on. Okay? And there's a lot of expectation for things to be good. For people to be happy. For people to at least be on their best behavior. Right? Just to get through these dang days. And you might be somebody who is facilitating. I just had this discussion with my husband the other day. Today, actually. Feels like a few days ago. But yeah, it was today. I was just talking about, it's crazy because you think when you're younger, the holidays just happen. No, they're a lot of work. Oh, yes, they are a lot of work. And so you might be somebody who is putting in a lot of work and you're hoping everything goes perfectly. You're hoping everybody has a good time and enjoys. And you are not responsible for how other people experience these events and these holidays and things like that. I know. I'm the same way. Everybody can be happy and then there's like one person who didn't. Oh, I don't eat, olives, or I don't like onions, or whatever it is, something. And it's like my little black Grinch heart, the last little piece breaks off. Devastated. Devastated. And but it's not, it's just so much emphasis. So we're going into a time that's already loaded. I mean, it's like a minefield of emotional stuff, right? And so I think it's important for us to be going into this, being aware, being in touch with ourselves, taking the time to notice how we're feeling, and allowing ourselves to feel how we feel, but not making it the whole deal. I can feel upset. I can feel let down. I can feel frustrated. I can feel, you know? Just, ugh. But that's not the whole picture. And that's not how it's going to be the whole time. I'm going to let it be, and I'm going to let it pass. So I invite you. I invite you to do something similar, right? Now, we have this person, and it looks like they have been holding this butterfly, like we saw in the other image in the bowl earlier. Now, letting it go, and the butterfly is flying. It is not only flying, it is flourishing. It has become. And so I know there's a lot of stuff you're facing right now. There's a lot of reasons to feel pretty crummy. But you also have that desire to get through it. To keep on going. To find that little bit of ease. That little bit of, yeah, this is pretty good. That moment when you're standing in your kitchen and you've been cooking and you've been cleaning and you've been trying to make everybody happy, and you just stop and you look out and you see, hey, maybe they're not like, you know, lifting you up on their shoulders or throwing the Gatorade, you know, like in the football stuff where they do the Gatorade on the couch. Maybe they're not doing that, but everything is okay. And that's good enough, right? So look for those moments, because they will hold you. And remember, you're a part of it all, just as much as anybody else. And I see you. I see you flying. I absolutely do. I see you. All right, let's do our lucky numbers. I've been rambling for a while. All right, let's see. Okay. Number 8, my lucky number. That's my lucky number. I guess I'll share it with you. You are my favorite. No. Are you? I don't know. Has Scorpio become my favorite? It used to be. Well, I can't say who it used to be. But I really do like Scorpios. I have learned so much about the signs and people and just been so aware of it since I've been doing public readings. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you here. I really didn't like Geminis or Scorpios. I mean, not that I really even knew that for a fact, but I was conditioned, you know, by the stereotypes. And I'm like, I don't know about those Scorpios. Although I do have one really good friend that's a Scorpio, and he's like, he's pretty cool. He is. Shout out to my brother Ken, kindred spirit, a fellow Saturnian child. I won't say your name, but I know that you're out there. I don't want to dox everybody I know. But yeah, but through the readings and getting to know people, and now I just know more people because we talk about our signs and stuff a little bit more. And yeah, well, now I have a Gemini daughter too. So I'm like, oh, now I understand Geminis a lot more. Not just through the readings, but also Scorpio. I'm like, maybe it's because we're so alike. I mean, I am a Virgo, and I always say this. Virgos, I love us Virgos. Of course I do. But we're like smidge less cool sibling of the Scorpios. Like, Scorpios are just the raddest. So, I'll share my 8 with you. Number 67. 67. 8, 67, and 40. All right, perfect. Now we're going to do our Mary Magdalene oracle cards. That's the word, oracle. I'm going to stop where it feels right. We're going to flip it over. It says, the first power. Darkness makes vision possible. There you go. That's for you, Scorpio, because that's the real thing. And, you know, here's the other thing about Scorpio is that you all have such an ability to create an atmosphere to, and I say this a lot, about your aesthetics, your home decor, how you kind of carry yourself, your way of speaking, always very unique. Especially if you're a creative Scorpio, you know, just off the charts, right? And a lot of it is because you dwell in these places that most people are too afraid to go within themselves. You are not afraid to be scared. You are not afraid to be upset. You are not afraid to rage. You are not afraid to go through it. You do not shy away from that world. Now, sometimes that can be hard because you get sucked back into those places. But your experiences there, they open you up to your psychic abilities, your clairvoyance, your creativity. But the thing is, you have to temper it. It has to be balanced. You cannot always dwell in those places without succumbing to it. And a lot of times that it ends in self-destruction. So that's what this reading is really about. It is about learning to balance. And I feel you wobbling a little bit. And I'm not talking bad about you. I hope that you know that this comes from a place of love and care. Absolutely. Got to balance it out. All right. Well, I love you. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Also, if you want to leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. And with that, I will say, I love you, I love you, I love you. We will talk real soon. And good night.